Yep, Toronto. We're gonna start right now. The intro. Hold on.
All right, do your thing.
Bless, bless, bless. It's the Down to Earth Network, the Down to Earth podcast with your host Sean Myrie. Tonight we got a special guest. I'm guessing you're from the West Coast, right? The West Coast. Tell the people where you're from, brother.
I'm from West Covina, California, Los Angeles County. So West Coast as it gets.
So what do you do? Like, tell the people what you do. Like, I see that you got your own platform, and
I'm a host of a YouTube channel, internet personality, Rich Dollar 64. You can find me the Making of a Man TV, Making of a Man TV on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all of the platforms, TikTok, all of them.
so how long you been doing it for?
As far as the podcast stuff or the YouTube channel, I've been doing it for about 3 years,
3 years?
grinding. As far as entertainment, I've been doing this my whole life.
All right. So like, what's the feedback you've been getting since getting into this game? Like the podcast thing has become very popular in the last, couple years.
As
What,
far as podcasting,
the
am I
feedback.
still good on?
See if you're still there. Bless, bless, bless. Rich Dollars, we're just waiting for him to tap back in. Right now, we're live and direct, Down to Earth Network. Yeah, he's straight from the West
Sorry
Coast,
about that, fam.
content
That won't
maker,
happen anymore.
doing his thing. There's sometimes technical difficulties, nothing's perfect. But yeah, you've been doing the content game, so the feedback from like, your people or people like how they how they
Well, with people once they see you dropping content, once they see your content is popping and you popping up on their screen when you're not asking them to look and you starting to get, high level guests, of course, they want to get included. But a lot of people ain't there when you start to struggle off.
yeah, you're right.
You
You're
know
right.
what I mean? So a lot of and I'm pretty sure you get it from your own people where you at, like your homies, they want you to put a story about them or talk about their music or stuff like that. But you got to keep it current.
hmm A lot of stuff is going on right now, like, as far as content and like material out there. How do you look at the game right now, especially with content makers, there's streamers, podcasters, and other like vloggers that the media is more independent now. We don't have to rely on a big production to entertain people right now.
Yeah, we're definitely in a new phenomenon in respect to media. People have access to information more readily because you have people like us who report directly on what's happening in the streets. We got our ears to the streets. We know majority of the people a lot of the times who's doing the things, and we're more connected and we're able to report on things that our people want to hear.
Mhm. So like for example, where you're from, right? What's the popular thing? Is it like a lot of the, like we call it the mix up, like people like to hear like something controversial, or is it promoting like the culture more like the music side?
Where I'm at, it's more controversial. Uh, people want to hear the controversial stuff. People want to hear the abrasive stuff. I come from a world of gangs and drugs and stuff like that, where people is doing that type of stuff. As you can see, I got Big U in the background.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things going on right now. This whole thing about Big U and all of that.
hmm
Actually, I know Big U. I know Nipsey Hussle. Rest in peace. I know a lot of the people involved in what's going on in this situation right now.
I'm gonna ask you about this, for example. Now, this story was like really broadcast big, kind of on a platform like Adam 22 is one of them, right? So people may look at it that I'm not surprised, but they might look at it a way that this was bound to happen because of people going on a public platform, and this is what is the result. Made it easier for, like, I call it the hip hop cops.
I don't believe that, because if you look at it, if you pay attention to this investigation, you'll see that this investigation goes all the way back to 2010,
Mm.
prior to the inception of what we're in now is this new form of media. So the feds were already investigating this individual. It's not like this individual wasn't on the radar with them, or this organization wasn't on the radar with them. I think what's happening now is that podcasters and YouTube channels and media pundits of our ilk starting to get a bad rap, because people are saying, "Oh, you snitching, you snitching." No, it's not really us. We're reporting on the information that's coming to us, and we're putting it out there. People want to hear it, but after they hear it, they get upset.
But now, for in regards to like Adam's platform, he's the one he's kind of like talking with all of these individuals himself, right? So it's like he kind of controls some of it.
Nah, he doesn't
No?
control any of it, because he receives the information third party. People who are actually out here in the streets, who are connected to the streets, like myself. I've been covering this story for three
You're right. You're right. It's been around for a long time, but
three
he just
years.
kind of what I'm saying, like, put a bigger spotlight, like
Yeah,
spotlight it more.
well, to people on the outside who aren't from this particular
Mm,
side of the world or in the know, yeah, he puts a bigger spotlight on it because he has the largest platform.
mm,
But the information that Adam receives is from people who come from the street. Would you
yeah,
agree?
yeah, yes,
Okay. So a lot of the information that he's getting is information that's regurgitated from places like Clubhouse, or
yeah.
people
You're
that
right.
have Clubhouse rooms. Like me and one of my partners, we ran one of the biggest rooms on Clubhouse, called Death of the Cloud Chasers.
Hmm.
Shout out to my boy Big Chuck from Death of the Cloud Chasers. But a lot of that information comes from those rooms where we had with WAC 100, a lot of rooms that we interview people,
Hmm.
and so a lot of the major sites get that information from smaller sites, and that's how they level up.
You're right. This was cooking for a while. You're right. Like, I done my research even before. I knew of Big U before, right? Because
Hmm.
I was studying. I was always into West Coast culture, like even the music from a long time. So even like interviews, podcasts, like all types of forms of like what we do right now, and documentaries especially. And I
Right.
knew the name Big U from documentaries, like talking about like anywhere about in Compton or the West Coast, Rolling 60s, and then like even from Snoop. If you're a fan of Snoop or anybody like that from the West Coast who's commercialized around the world, and you're really into that, you'll have an idea where like a little bit of the culture, like some education of it. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? Like MC8 is from Rolling 60s. Correct me if I'm wrong. MC8.
No, no,
Um,
no. MC8 is from Compton.
he's from Compton.
MC8 is from Tragnew Park, Compton Crip.
But okay, yeah, yeah. Dub C though. I'd say
Dub
Dub
C
C.
is from 111 Neighborhood Crip.
You see? But to the world, it's promoted just Crip, unless you know.
See what
You
I'm
get what I
saying?
mean?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you ask me, I could be able to differentiate. It's just
Yeah,
not Crip. See, there's
yeah.
multiple
There's
types of
different
Crips.
Crips. See, it's true. It's true. It's facts.
There's gangster Crips, and there's Crips that are Crip gang. Then there's neighborhood Crips. So everybody who would be up under neighborhood Crip would be under the neighborhood Crip banner.
Yeah, I see. That's different. It's like different rules, different ways, and stuff like that.
Yeah, because everybody represents a number. So if you had the gangster Crips, they will represent the three. They trays. Then you have the neighborhood Crips. They're from the rolling car. They're from the old car. They're deuces. So they're diametrically opposed to those trays.
It's the culture. You gotta understand that. You see,
Yeah, it's
it's
definitely the
completely,
culture, bro.
it's completely different than what other people think around the world, right?
It's just like going over there. We wouldn't understand Carabana. You know what I mean? You'd be like, oh yeah,
Right.
this over here, you got this part of Toronto, you can get this. You can come over here, this part of Toronto, you can get that. See, you didn't know I knew about Carabana, but I do.
That's good. You're educated. Yeah, Carabana. A lot of Americans come here for Carabana to Toronto.
For
That one
sure,
thing
for sure.
people don't know, if they don't know, and I'm talking to you from the West. A lot of Americans from I was young, probably 13, Carabana, and it was before Carabana. I used to see Americans. I remember always coming, filling up downtown Toronto, driving with the nice cars and shit like that. Uh, Parties like crazy up until recently. LeBron James, it went so big like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Toronto, somewhere is something completely different if you don't know. The same thing like the West Coast. You got to educate yourself, especially with someone from there. So right now, how's the West Coast music scene right now? I'm gonna ask you because I know there's Kendrick, the commercialization of Kendrick,
Yeah.
but there's a lot more. You get what I mean?
Okay, so if you look at the West Coast music scene, that would be the top level, and that's the commercial level. That's almost like it's rap, it's hip hop, but it's almost like pop stars. Then you have the West Coast street music, which would be X4, Dodie Six, um, the Lefty Gun plays. You got a lot of different underground rappers that are a little bit above ground, if you follow what I'm saying. They're getting a little bit of shine, but it's a lot of it is regional. You got Zay Osama. You got a lot of rappers who haven't got that because, see, I'll tell you this thing about the music. West Coast lingo, the way we talk, and the things that we attribute to other things, people can't understand it. Like people's like, what's a fade? What's squabble up? What what does this mean? What does that mean? Yeah, we'll know. Like if somebody from the West Coast to say, "Oh yeah, he's a joint," would you understand that? Okay.
No, no,
So
no.
if you hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, he's a joint," that means he's one of those guys. He's one of the ones. He's like a hitter.
Mm, I
You
see
know what
what
I
I mean.
mean?
Yeah.
He's one of them boys that come through and do his thing, or he's one of the dudes that's getting money. He's the one that's got the money. He's the one that got the cars. He's a joint.
Makes
So
sense.
you
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? So if people heard that outside of here, they wouldn't know what the f that was. So that's the dilemma that West Coast music has. It has selective language that if you're not into the West Coast culture, you won't be able to pick up on.
And that's why I feel the West Coast always been around, but it's been quite the last couple of years. It's been kind of silent. What do you think about that? Like,
I think just what I said prior to that is the reason why people can't vibe to it because they don't understand what the people are talking about. They're not following. Like one of the biggest rappers that we had out here that's still kind of driving the culture posthumously, it was Draco the Ruler. I don't know if you ever heard of Draco.
yeah, I heard of Draco and he died, passed away. It's
Mm-hmm.
always the greats, the ones who come with the energy. Sometimes they just pass very fast. That's like in the guy, the man from New York. What's his name again?
Pop Smoke.
Yeah, Pop Smoke. A great voice, came with the energy, and it's like they just can't stay around long. It's sad.
Well, it's we call it a lifestyle, but it's actually a death style that we live in. You know what I mean? Our music and in our culture is talking about death the majority of the time, or things that could possibly lead up to death, the threat of death. Because if you cross me, I do this, I do that. So when those brothers ascend to our highest heights in that type of music, they have to project that type of image and they have to live it 24/7.
So like right now, What do you think about like this whole case going on? Because this is like overshadowing sometimes the music, like the politics of the streets. Now, Nipsey Hussle is linked to this, like it or not. This whole case, we got all these different cases linked to this, or I might dig up other stuff, right? So, what do you think about this whole?
When you say what do I think about it, what do you mean? And
What do you think?
could
Like
you
how
clarify
like
that?
so much how much stories are connected to just like Big U, for example. It's not just this
Oh
what we're
man,
hearing about.
listen, there's so many stories connected to this. There's so many links connected to this that this is a spider web. You know how you see a spider web go all these different directions. You got to think about it. There's over 120 people been interviewed prior to them indicting the initial 19. Then after that 19, now it's down to 8.
I swear they changed it the first time I heard it over here. It said 29.
Wow, I never heard that one.
I heard
But
29.
what I will tell you is that this is going to go back years and years and years. This is going to touch politicians. This is touching people in entertainment. This is an individual who was making $1.5 million a year as in his grid program. You feel what I'm saying? Big U was getting paid a hefty salary. So any one of us would be happy with $1.5 million a year, but somehow that wasn't enough. If what's being reported about Big U is actually true, man, I
Yeah,
don't know what to say.
because besides Big U, I remember like in the Vlad whole. I guess Vlad was doing a lot of coverage of gangs or LA culture, a lot of his interviews. And there was that other brother, I would say, I don't know if I could call him a brother, the one who's accused of killing Tupac, Keefe D.
Oh, Keefe D.
And
Yeah.
he was known, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because there's another individual too. He's what? A Crip or Blood?
Keefe D is a Crip. He from Southside Compton Crip.
So he would talk about Big U too. I remember he was talking like some old politics. He brought up his name and vice versa. I think they used to
Because
work with each other.
well, I know Keefe D too as well. Um, but as far as Big U and the reason why he was talking about them is because back in the day during the 90s, the Southside Compton Crips and the Rolling 60 Crips were into it. They had a beef with each other. And both of them at the time wore the same hat, a Seattle Mariners hat, a blue Seattle Mariners hat with a gold S. And they both, so, it was at a time when gangs were fighting for dominance.
So I see. And they were talking about stuff like online podcasts, same thing. Vlad. And after that brought up a lot of stuff and Keefe D got, look where he's at right now.
But at
He
the same time, uh, if you ask me a question right now, right? You ask me a question that I don't want to answer, all I'm going to do is go like this. Once you see I don't respond to that question, you as a good interviewer, because you seem like a good interviewer, you'll move on to another question because you would recognize the silence. But if somebody is eager to open his mouth and start spilling, as me as the podcaster or the interviewer, what is my job to get the information?
and he did give a lot of information, like he gave a lot of information.
Did Vlad put a gun to his head?
No, no, no,
Has Adam put a gun to anyone's head?
nope. You're right.
Okay. Just like now, when you asking me, I came on here voluntarily. Other people have came on my show voluntarily and said some very candid things. Is it my job to censor those things because they said them candidly?
Yeah, you're right. It's how they bring it. It's how they bring it. You get what I mean? Like I could like sometimes spot somebody if they're gonna talk about maybe just say when they're locked up. I'd say I kind of give them that energy. Do you really want to talk about it, or are we gonna talk about business if you're an artist? Because a lot of times we interview artists, but they might have backgrounds like that. So they'll get the energy. It's just how it depends how you want it. Some people like the spice. Some people want,
Yeah, they
they'll
want to hear the
carry
hot
on the
stuff.
spice.
Want that hot stuff, man. And there's plenty of hot stuff out there right now. Trust me.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of hot stuff, and the media sometimes make things look one way, and it's not really that way, unless you're somebody smart enough to analyze it right. Like Puffy, everybody thought Puffy was over, but now you're hearing Puffy's gonna be might be coming out. I was telling people stuff like that too, and they said, "Yo, you're crazy." But look now, I don't know if you heard
Puffy's not
about him.
coming out, bro. Puffy's not coming out,
He-
bro.
He's not gonna come out.
He's not coming out. Big U is not coming out.
So out of this whole raid, do you think it's besides Big U? Do you think they're gonna be like giving cases to the rest of the people? Like,
Have you read the indictment? It's 107 pages. Um, it's racketeering, it's murder, it's extortion, it's robbery, it's sex trafficking. There's also coercion, violation of the Hobbs Act multiple times. They're looking at a lot of times, and this is not only isolated to Big U. It's encompassing for the people that are a part of Big U enterprises. So when you have conspiracy, it's talking about all the conspirators. So I believe all of those people are in pretty big trouble.
so what do you think about like now he's controversial. So people that's why people talk like Whack 100. He gives a lot of info towards a lot of these things before it even happens. So people like would accuse him of being a Fed a lot of the times, but he always gives. I don't think so. I don't think he just knows how to figure out and see something coming. A lot
Okay,
of these
so
situations.
I know WAC 100. Um, I've done a lot of podcasts with WAC 100. I've done a lot of content over the last few years with WAC 100, specifically on this specific topic right here. Um, what I will say is WAC has a lot of inside information. He knows a lot of things that's going to happen. I can say that WAC told me this was going to happen. So I wasn't surprised when it happened because he let it be known that this was going to happen. He had the information from the family of Rayshawn Williams. I seen the text message. I also seen the text message from Loose Cannon. Um, this was really happening. He told me it was going to happen at the end of March, early April, and hey, we see it happen, man. So as far as WAC, with people saying he's a Fed or whatnot, I don't know that. I don't know him to be a Fed. I've seen him out moving around. They move in a real way. So um, that's all I can say about that, pretty much.
Bless, bless. We got another guest joining from the West Coast. Godface. Bless.
Hey, what's up, family?
Got
Down to Earth podcast. What's happening, big dogs?
we got the other brother from the West Coast. On right now. We're just chopping it up about like the politics, what's going on. You're from Oakland and you're from the West Coast. You've been hearing about this whole thing, what's going on right now. This is the biggest thing. Like, sorry to say, it's negative, but to us, even over here, it's the biggest thing. Like in social media, podcast system, what's going on.
What would that be, Mr. Marvin?
Yeah, you remember the name. The whole thing with the whack one, Adam 22. The very famous podcast, Adam 22. The
Oh,
whole, I don't know if you heard about that with the raid and all that.
and so it really happened.
Yeah, it happened.
I thought it was
It
I
really,
thought it was a joke. Like some they said
but you
they
thought it was
had,
fake? You thought
huh?
it was fake?
Yeah, I thought that would they would like doing some type of like some shit on their channel like to get some extra little funny jokes or whatever.
Oh yeah. No, man, that really happened, man. That really happened. See, some people will take it that way that it's probably like scripted. I can understand that. But it's really shit what happened. Adam 22 had guests for a long time. It's a very popular podcast, known it for
Yeah,
the West Coast,
I'm
and
familiar.
certain individuals been on that show, and they're locked up for all these cases, indictments, facing I don't know how long, long time and shit.
I
But
feel,
I don't believe that because the way you're paraphrasing it, you're almost paraphrasing it like the people went on no jumper and subsequently they ended up in jail.
No, 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 no. You're right. You're right. Brother, correct me. Yeah, yeah. You end up in jail just like that. It's a long thing. Like this was a whole thing, like over years and years and years. But I'm just saying, Adam 22 spotlight this. He spotlight a lot of these different stuff, and maybe like other people, individuals who came on his platform, spotlight this, right? But like I said, the hip hop police. I don't know if you ever heard me talk about this. They watch all of this shit. You get what I mean? It makes it more easy. Everybody, they weren't forced to come on there, but they, what it's called, you know, voluntarily mention whatever they mention, making it. You get what I'm saying? And now look, it's a big situation.
You could say the same thing about Dirk and all the people from
Yeah,
Chicago,
yeah,
because Adam has had a multitude of people from the streets from different parts of the country there. He's had Julio Fulio, he's
hmm
had people from Florida there, he's had people from Atlanta,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
had
all
people
around. Yeah, yeah,
from
yeah,
Chicago.
yeah,
So just at this particular moment, it's centered around the West Coast because he was just doing Little Woody and everything that
yeah.
transpired in
You're
Atlanta.
right. You're right. It's gonna be other places
Correct.
too. I believe they're
So
gonna look at Adams.
we can't be prisoner of the moment because the
Yeah, yeah.
content is content.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? We know that, but the hip hop police will use anything to get anybody. This is like a treasure box open for them. So it's not just this situation. I'm looking at it that they're gonna look back at all of, Adam even mentioned this, all of his stuff from before. People who from Chicago, people whoever's from Florida, whoever, you get what I'm saying? They're gonna just this just makes it easy for them. You get, eating popcorn watching.
But if people came on and talked about hip hop, they wouldn't have no problem with the hip hop police. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that they talk about everything other than hip hop to pump up their hip hop. Ergo, the police got to get involved.
You're right. Exactly. But
You
that's
know what I'm
how it
talking about?
is. Yeah.
So it's simple mathematics. You put in, you get out what you put in.
You're right. You're right.
You know, we can't keep blaming people because look, man, you arrested me because the gun fell out in front of my pocket in front of the police. Man, I should have been able to have this gun. Why did you let the gun fall out your pocket in front of the police? You
You're
feel me?
right.
They just
You're right.
gotta stop putting the blame on other people.
I'm I've been noticing like they go on there anyway, and like Adam and Vlad and these guys, they ask them a question about something very sticky, and then they be like, "I don't know what you talking about. I don't know, absolutely doesn't." Like they
Yeah.
pleading the fifth, right in the face, right? But you're telling on yourself though, right there to me, by saying, "Oh, I don't know this person,"
Yep.
and it's very clear as day that you do, or it's some type of like it's disrespectful, and then it's like another level of
Playing in my face.
I'm playing the game with the fans and leveraging
hmm
I'm trying to be the discreet. I don't be talking on the internet type guy, right? Everybody want to be that guy, but then at the end of the day, you doing it on the music. So it's like why not finish it off on a podcast and just go all the way through with it? just stand on it all the way. You know what I'm saying? Because
You know what though?
I don't know nothing and I ain't heard nothing and I don't know what you're talking about. But you on the podcast where this is where he asks you these type of questions at. And but you saying that to say I do know what you're talking about, and I'm just not about to say it right here on TV right now. But y'all know what it is. And I be picking up. We know we pick up on game. What do you think that the boys don't pick up on game? You think
It's like this.
they infiltrated?
Somebody asked you, they say, hey, um, did you in 2023? I heard that you did a shooting outside the club. So what was that? He's like, man, I don't know what the fuck you talking about. I ain't never heard no shit like that.
Yes, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, Vlad.
Sure.
I
For
said, you
sure.
heard about that? Yeah, hey, Vlad. Yeah, I shot the niggas, man. It was two niggas. They came up on. Come on, bro. That's what they doing. That's what these niggas doing. And then they get mad at the podcast dude
Yeah.
talking about the podcast dude is snitching.
But you know what? I'm going to tell you a story. I want to tell you guys a story. I've heard of stories of people even up here. They do a podcast, and it probably happened where you are, and they record everything, and then the man wants him to destroy the podcast because he said some shit after listening, watching it over again.
Oh yeah. Damn. Yeah.
So that is normal up here. Like I've been here. That's like a theme. Like because
Yeah.
they don't know they smoke so much, some of them drink so much before they go on, they don't realize what they're giving out, right? So either the man has to edit it real good or they trash it.
Think about this. You took the time to set up an interview at 10 o'clock, right? You had a long day. You did a whole bunch of stuff. You handled your business. You got here. You got your equipment. You got it set up. You sent me the link. You sent bro the link, right? Now, say me and bro, we start talking about some stuff. Then we call you 30 minutes later and be like, hey, man, you know, I ain't even mean to say what I said on the podcast, man. Can you erase that? Bro, this is my business.
I need that actually. I actually need anything that you said, man. I need to keep that.
Well, I'm glad I never had that situation, but I've heard people have that, and that's like crazy. That's what
Yeah.
I guess Adam now he says he doesn't believe in doing that, and I understand he wants the raw stuff. But now the feds or the powers that be, if they want, they'll go back into the past, like wherever, and just entertain themselves to see, like especially he never had Lil Durk on there, any Chicago guys, have you?
I don't think Dirk ever been on there. No, I don't think Dirk ever went on no jumper.
But he had Chicago guys on there. I know he had some
A
Chicago.
bunch of Chicago guys on there. He'd had, of course, he had Famous Richard. He's had J Man, FYB J Man. He's had, I think he had Duck, but back before Duck, rest in peace. I know he had Ruger on there. He's had, of course, King Yella on there a bunch of times. So he's had a lot of Chicago dudes. He had Chief Keef on there before.
So he has some stories. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and I don't know what those guys were saying when they went on No Jumper. If there's anything that they have said, but that's the politics. What Adam 22 is getting is the street news. He's getting the street news. He wants to get like the highest of the street news. People who are
Yeah.
in the industry, but one foot in the street still. They're in the industry, but one foot in the street. You get what I mean? Like they still have that connection. He
Yeah.
loves that stuff.
You
I
know
can't
what?
blame him though.
You know what Adam 22 is getting? He's getting what they call some news you can use, some knowledge you can't get in college. You feel what I'm
Man.
saying? He getting straight street knowledge from the people that's actually doing it.
So
Right.
Godface, I just got to ask you. You got new music too. You're from Oakland yourself. Like we've been connecting for like a good time. Like I've been seeing your growth. How's it going for you right now with the music?
Man, you know what? The music is always the easiest part, man. The music is fun. that's the joy that bring the light. You know what I'm saying? The music is always gonna be number one, and it's like you feel like Michael Jackson when you write a good song. You know, every time. But you know, the politics and all of that, you know, the navigation of the independent world, it can get a little sticky, man. So you got to just take the good with the bad, balance it out, and then strive forward if this is what you really want to do. So, you know, I'm gonna keep it lit because I feel like I got some talent. I feel like the world need to hear a certain perspective. So I'm gonna keep it lit. But yeah, it's definitely pressure makes diamonds. I see why we got so many gems and super power superstars that, you know, got the world in their hand because this shit is hard work.
You know what makes it easy now in these days? Networking, like what we're doing. It's not like before when no one was doing networking like this. They see Godface on Down to Earth, right? They
Yeah,
see that you're talking, we're doing this podcasting, that helps networking. Like how I speak with this brother tonight.
that's right.
Rich, let me get your name again. You Rich Dollars, right?
Yeah, Rich Dollar 6'4".
See, I got the memory. I don't forget, man.
Yo, yo,
Yeah,
that's a
don't
dope
forget,
name.
yo.
I like
So
that name.
yeah, man, it's good to connect this networking because he's from the West Coast, you're from the West Coast. I'm sure later on after this podcast, you guys will check out each other's networks, what you guys do. This
Most
is
definitely.
probably an interview too. This is what we do, right?
Most
Yeah, as
Is it?
far as the music, I've been in the music business myself. Um, I put out a couple albums before. I was in a group called the Neighborhood Click. I also put out my own solo projects under the name Sick to Born. I've recorded with a lot of dope artists over the years. I've recorded for sure with Corrupt, Nipsey Hussle, Problem. I've had beats, from I've done a lot, performed with a lot of people, and I just know that if you grinding in the music business, you're gonna make a way because it's markets everywhere. Like I had a record deal where my record was in all 50 states, but the majority of the places where people was buying my records was in Brazil, Iceland, Japan. Uh, at the time we was putting out G-Funk records, and we was one of the top groups in G-Funk. People still, if you look up, it's an album. It's called "It's Your Own Life" by the Neighborhood Click, and that's Click with two C's. Um, it's
yeah,
possible. I
no,
mean,
for
Yeah.
real.
it's possible, bro.
You just
Yo,
gotta keep going and going. Stay
yeah,
consistent. So
nah, yeah, that's hard.
what you got new, Godface? What's it your latest track? What you put out?
Let me see. We're gonna come with an EP coming up, man. I'm gonna finally do like a little project where I put some songs together on a nice little concept. You know what I'm saying? So you can look for that in the spring. Once it really pop off, April, May. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do something special, something exclusive. So it's gonna take a while before the streaming platforms get a hold on it, but we're gonna get it to them too. And yeah, that's just how we moving.
Yo, I want to ask you both because you're from the West Coast. I got you now. This is a golden moment. What do you think about this whole Drake and Kendrick Lamar, the whole thing? Because Drake is from my city, city, and after then Kendrick is from the West Coast, and they're doing all this politics too. Because this has been the biggest story almost a year now, right?
Right,
And on our side, we hear a lot of stuff
right.
like
What's up with the boy Top Five?
that. Is listen. I don't know why people are scared of him. Certain people are scared of him like the boogeyman, but he ain't represent. He don't represent Toronto to me.
He don't
He
rap
he's
Toronto like
he's
that.
no 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 no. Man. To me, I don't even want to say what I really think because of the politics. But he
All
don't.
right,
He's not the one. You get what I mean? Like this one,
yeah.
he's like a mascot.
Mm.
He's like a
Wow.
mascot. That's not the real Toronto. That's all I gotta say. That's not
What?
no real Toronto.
Damn.
He's only getting that because he has the machine. Drake
Because
is
he
part
got
of the
Drake behind
machine.
him, huh?
But the real ones, nah, man, nah,
So
man.
what's the deal between Drake and the Weeknd? Why they ain't
Oh,
cool?
that's the real beef. You see this whole Kendrick stuff? I'm giving you guys the real deal. That is the
Why
real
they ain't
beef.
cool?
They had beef from a long time ago, years ago, because Drake wanted to sign him and he didn't want to sign to Drake, and he got his
Yeah.
own deal. And his people, who are from another side of like you call the state Ontario, it's called
Okay.
Ottawa. These are Muslim guys who are into hip hop. They helped the weekend. These guys were always doing music in you know Belly. You ever heard of Belly, the rapper? Okay, that guy, he had a record company, and he linked with another guy from Ottawa, and they started a bigger label, and they signed the Weekend. Until now, they're big managers of with like Future. What's Future's DJ or that guy, the producer? He's on their label. A whole bunch of these
Are you talking
artists are
about um
Is it
damn
booming?
Metro Boomin?
Metro
Yeah.
Boomin. A whole bunch of these artists you'll never think are signed to these guys who are linked with the Weekend. You know what I mean? Like
And you
these
think
guys.
Tory Lane's gonna get deported?
Yeah, he's gonna come out. He's gonna come out. He's coming out. But this whole Drake and Kendrick thing, it's really the Weekend because the Weekend is from Toronto. A lot of even Americans don't know the Weekend is really from the Toronto. He doesn't,
Yeah.
And the weekend shit slap
but he
too,
doesn't
by the
promote
way.
it like Drake. That's why he
This
gets a
shit,
kind of a hit. People kind of
He
like
he
don't.
doesn't need to
Yes, he doesn't need to. You're right.
because he has a select artist. He has a select fan base that's going to research him out. So he's one of those artists. He's almost an artist like Maxwell.
Yeah,
Maxwell doesn't have to promote his music, but people gonna research him out. He's gonna sell out. Uh, Almost like what's that rapper's name? Russ. You
yeah.
know who Russ
but
is?
yeah, Russ. But the difference is, Weekend is one of the top, if not the top, artists in the whole world
He the
next
number
to
one.
Drake. He
He
beat.
number
That's
He's
what I'm
one.
him and
saying,
Drake.
bro. He
Him and
don't
Drake
have
been
to do
fighting.
it.
Him and Drake been fighting up and down for the last year. It's like
Yeah,
with
that's
streaming ratings until Kendrick came in, but it's still really the Weekend worldwide. Weekend's an international star, not just in one region. I know Drake is trying to do that, but what's hurting Drake, and I'm telling the truth, he's from the same city. It's just people are not looking at that. They're just looking at this Kendrick stuff. It's really these guys. It's a local thing because OVO and then there's EXO. So no one's looking at EXO. Now this guy Nav, who signed to the
hey, but
Weekend's
you
label,
gonna you gonna you
he
gonna have
could
that in
just call
every
out Drake.
you gonna have that in every city though. You gonna always have your little neighborhood brother, you know, one up on like somebody always not gonna like the top dog, and they gonna
But
always be
Weekend is known as the top
even
dog
in the
too.
in
That's what's
every.
going on. That's what's going on. I asked some Americans who's popular, and I've been hearing
But
Weekend more
for
than
sure,
Drake.
I
Oh,
mean,
because Americans is gonna feel some type of way against Drake right now. Because unless you're talking to Americans on the East Coast. Now, Americans on the East Coast, they gonna favor Drake more because they welcome Drake like he's a part of the East Coast, especially when he's going against a West Coast person like Kendrick. So when they hear that they not like us, they not feeling. They already feel like they not like us. So they like we with Drake. Yo, we with Drake, son.
hey, that's a great observation. I believe there's some truth to that because you see how Joey Badass jumped out. Ooh wee!
That,
It
that
was.
didn't work, man. That didn't work. He should have sit down. They need somebody sharper than that, man. And there's no need for them to come into this. This is just Drake. This is all it's Drake. It's not even Toronto.
He
All these
jumped
Toronto
out.
people are
He
hurt.
jumped out
A
there.
lot of our Toronto people are hurt, and they're thinking that it's all Canadians. No, he's just talking about Drake and whoever, the whole world. It's not. We're not special. They think it's Canada against our Toronto and LA. No, no, no. It's just Drake and the
Yeah,
rest of the world. That's it. That's
Canada and
nothing.
America, we having some difficult
Oh
relations
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah. With Trump, that's politics, man.
But you know
That's
what? We can't let that encroach on the black communities. You see what I'm saying?
You're right. Facts,
We got to
facts. So right.
supersede those politics because those politics don't apply to us into the first place. You know what I'm talking about, bro.
Like you just dropped it, a gem. That's true. You can't
Yeah,
make that interfere. That's not us. We're universal, man.
they
We
not
gotta be
like
more
us.
over that. Yeah, they're not like us.
Now
It's true.
I'm
No,
gonna
you're
have
right.
niggas in Canada saying that shit.
Come on.
Yeah, it's true. I've been saying it for a while. They're not like us. We
Come
can't
on.
make that politics interfere with us because
We
that. You're
cannot
right.
let that
Yeah,
politics stop the black community. That's
yeah,
only an impediment to our success
yeah.
because ultimately they gonna reconcile.
You're right.
Then here we up looking like a fool because we was acting like we was Canadians and we was uh, Americans when we all part of the black nation.
It's true. It's facts. But they do it themselves. You see, Trump friends with Putin. He's all good with Putin and all them stuff. You get what I mean? Like he's good with Russia, and you know the politics with Russia and America a long time ago. This man is like cozying up with Putin's like and then you got Elon Musk. How do you?
You gotta realize that the United States and Russia used to be allies at one time. During World War One, the
Once that man,
United States and Russia were allied against the German forces. So at one time they were allied. The United States have purchased property from Russia. You got to remember we got Alaska from Russia. So there has been collaboration between those two nations within the last 100 years, 100 to
you know
110
what?
years. So
We
it's
just
not that
dropped a
long
gem.
ago.
That we just dropped a gem, so it probably makes sense. Like I believe everything's written that they're all of a sudden like Trump is the guy. I believe he was put there, like he was meant to be, is the guy to bring this back. I don't know how long it's been since World War One, but they need to have this type of system to do something else. I believe. Yo, he's calling us the 51st state. That's like a declaration of war. He's saying he wants to take over Canada. This man,
Okay, so if you look at the synonymous
yeah,
modus operandi, you will look at the annexation of neighboring lands or countries to assimilate, to accumulate power and strength. So that's
yes,
what Putin has done when he tried to annex Crimea,
right,
Georgia, and those
hmm
lands, because those lands used to belong to what was called the United Soviet Socialist Republic. At
right.
one time, that was a part of Russia. So during the Cold War, they reestablished those that areas. You feel me?
Yeah,
So there are Russians that still live there. And what you have is you have an ethnic war inside as well as a religious war that is tying into Israel. Because if you notice that Russia has constantly been in Islamic areas and lands where they spent a lot of time in Syria, they spent a lot of time
hmm
in Afghanistan,
yep,
and they have a lot of Muslim people in their country.
yeah.
What
All
do
through
we
those
know
parts.
that is in uh um not Yugoslavia, but when we talking about Ukraine,
Yeah,
there's a lot of
Russians,
Ashkenazi.
Jews, like
Yeah, there
Russian
you
Jews,
go.
Russian
Right?
Jews.
Oh,
There's
I'm
a
not
lot.
gonna say it. You can say it.
Look, I
Okay.
don't say it, man. It's like they're saying Jamaican or they're saying all
So
types of
look,
things.
and where do those people tie into? Is tying into um Israel.
Yeah, yeah,
You see what I'm saying? So this
yeah.
is all a collective of these countries negotiating and annexing new lands, because we're seeing that same thing happen. They're talking about the repatriation of Palestinians from the Gaza
hmm
Strip.
yeah,
They're also
yeah.
talking about those same things with Zelensky, with him relinquishing some of his lands in Ukraine.
And they're talking about. I seen what's called Mexico. Someone is telling me about Mexico closing their borders, right? but and a bunch of thousands of troops. What's his name? Trump trying to send at the border at Mexico, and he put
12,000.
cartels as a terrorist group now. So now, if there any rise of them, he'll use the excuse that if you're a terrorist, what did he done in Iraq? I could go into Mexico, take over. Like it's an excuse. So now all the cartels have to be quiet now because he marked them down as a terrorist group. And when you put them down as a terrorist group, that means you have more, I guess, access or excuse that you can
What
go
if I
after
could
them.
prove to you that they are a terror group?
No, probably, yeah, you're right. No, but I'm just saying he just put the label now.
Yeah,
Now
he
once he
put
put the
that
label,
classification on so that he can have a way to encroach them. You see what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. Now
It-
for the world to show, it's like a stamp.
Yeah, you gotta put
Okay,
the language out there. And the reason why he was able to he changed the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America is so that he could get new leases to drill in those waters because under the corporate name of Gulf of Mexico, there is no drilling. But once that it was those waters were renamed and annexed,
to
now
drill.
there is new leasing opportunities to drill.
Godface, what do you think about the politics, man? Like Trump only has 4 years, and this is the world news because the tariffs he put on us, and ever since he put the tariffs on us and other people, but I know here when you go to a grocery store, they put a maple leaf to say this is Canadian food to tell you the difference if it's American food, so you buy Canadian food more. That's the way they fight the tariffs. They're fighting the tariffs, yeah.
this shit is, you know, it's like it just been going on like for some thousands of years now, man. They didn't, infiltrated our whole get down, from the it's like we see it on a large scale, we see it on a small scale, what's going on in hip hop. It's a reflection. It's like as above, so below. It's the whole it's like a it's gonna always gonna be some friction in the universe, but at the end of the day, you got to make informed decisions by informed people and stay in your lane, but it's unfortunate, on a large scale, because I know a lot of people gonna have to make some adjustments, but on the flip side of that, the end of the world has always been something that I think that we should look forward to. This whole shit is in shambles, and this shit is in the wrong direction. So I really, really wouldn't want to see this thing like, be around for too much longer. No way. So I be trying to, keep my ear to the street, but I think it's unfortunate for a lot of people. They're gonna have to for sure keep their ear to the street and make those adjustments. Like, whether it be boycotting certain things and keeping your bread to the side, doing some other things with it, getting some gold. Um, just some of those original things that we got put down in our mind, that we land, things of that nature, and just kind of do our best to stay in our zone in that tranquility place, because they coming from every direction, whether you Democrat, Republican, it's coming from so many different directions. It's hard to start drawing lines because you ain't gonna have nowhere to really go. So with that being said, you gotta look at this shit quantumly, and that's why I'm always quantumly, thinking and looking, because it get real sticky. It get real serious outside. It could be a whole, like you said, it could get real quick. But it's in the mind. You know what I'm saying? A lot of this shit is gonna be in our mind, how we want it to play out. So we could choose how we want it to play out. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, because it's righteously ours. Bloodline. Not even on no. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta figure this shit out. If it's to be figured out, if we don't figure it out as the black man and the black woman, then this shit go keep going the way it's going. Cause They don't really not supposed
You
to
know
be
what? Right,
in that,
right
in
now, I
that
think
position.
it's more gonna affect the people who are on top. That's who's scared. I'm not scared, especially um,
Yeah, they
people
play
who's been
mind
through
games.
this.
Yeah, they play mind games with us. You know what I'm saying? Like Top Ramen Noodles. I hate having to go back, but we been there. It ain't gonna be the end of the world because we gonna be here where every world we've been here for all the worlds. You know what I'm saying? All the lifetimes we gonna be here.
The end of the world will affect the people more. It'll affect every. I don't believe there's no end of the world. I think the end of the world is how you live. The way
It's just
maybe electricity might be all gone. That could be the end of the world.
it's the end of the
Technology,
world for some of us. Like this the
yeah,
end of life, and they kind of know like, okay, our time running up, and we don't really get two and three, four chances and all that shit. That's not. We don't have that cellular capacity, so that's why this earthly plane, this material world, is so distorted because it's being ran by the most dumbest beings is in control. Like the people with the least amount of spiritual sense is in leadership. So we doomed right
facts,
there. Yeah.
facts, man.
They got
So
some shit
yo,
though behind the scenes though, like some motherfuckers be knowing they little shit. They get
yeah,
it
script,
out of and
script.
say, hey, the astrologers and shit. They got some people, so they always good and they always get to keep the bag. We get the short end of the stick because we don't even fuck with the shit that we supposed to be fucking with. So
Yeah,
I mean, you know, like he said, it's a spiritual war, man. It tie into a whole lot of stupid shit that we could change. Just us three, just collect with three. Cause I know three people, he know three, you know three, and we start spreading this. Oh man, Powernomics, man. Dr. Claude Anderson, man. You know what I'm saying? We start thinking like that instead of worrying about what the fuck Kanye West talking about.
yeah.
Yeah, we on another trajectory now. We headed in another direction. So.
You're right. It's just how you put the energy out there. That's how I believe. You get what I'm saying? It's like how you put your energy out there, how Rich Dollars put his energy out there, and how we
Yeah,
connect. It's how you put the energy out there,
I
positive
think
energy. Even though there's a lot of negative energy around us, but we're fighting that every day, you know? So
I think
yo, go ahead.
no, yeah, for
Godface.
sure. Yup, you for sure.
Yeah, so I'm just saying like you say you have an EP. You're working on an EP, right? So like,
Yeah.
are you having any shows? I see you performing and doing some shows once in a while. You have any shows coming up?
Oh yeah, I got some shows lined up, man. That's what's up. I had some people. My boy Sonny hit me up. I'm so grateful for him, man. He always tap in with me, want me to get on the stage. I love doing it. They always making dope hip hop, boom bap, crazy sample type shit at the fucking record shop. You know what I'm saying? The real record store in Hayward. They always doing like fly shit like that, man. The nostalgic shit like that I like. So I'm gonna be in that building like April 12th, I believe it is. Yeah, I'll be there April 12th. You know, so I'm excited about that. It'd be real intimate in there, man. People that just want to, freestyle all fucking day and shit. Just got the freestyle heart of a champion. Them youngsters, boy, they be on that shit, man. That shit keep me driven, keep me lit.
So yo, Rich Dollars, what next content you plan to drop soon? Like what's coming up for you? Like what you working on? You got something working on?
Uh, I dropped a video today. Let me see. Did I drop one? I probably dropped another Big U video today just to finish up. Then I'll probably do some content about the yellow beezy and some other things. But pretty much, I'll just be searching for content on the net, seeing what's popping, and then I get to that. I do a number of different types of content. Like you see, I can go to the politics,
For surely.
or
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like that, man. We got to get down to earth again with my brother too, man, because he would probably love to talk to you. And you back, Godface, like we're gonna do
Most
some more, man. This is what we got to do: network our platforms together. That's how you really
exactly,
build
man.
that energy, right?
Exactly. I appreciate you, man. You keep doing your thing too, G, for surely.
hey man, when I come up to that Oakland, man, I had to pull up on you, man. What part of Oakland you from? You from the West?
No, I represent the East. Yeah, I rep
Okay.
the East, man. the whole thing. I read the whole yacht of them, man. I've been through the Rich, you know what I'm saying, San Leandro. I've been through the whole little side of the, you know what I'm saying, the Yate, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah, man. I come up through there. I go everywhere the Bart go.
exactly, man. All the way up and down. Exactly, man. That's what's up, man. Rich Dollaz, man. It's amazing meeting you, man. You got so much information for the people, man. So much knowledge. Thank you for having me on, Mari. Down to
Yeah,
Earth Pod.
man, Down to Earth podcast anytime, brothers, from the
Hey
West
man,
Coast.
and don't
Big
forget
up.
to pull up to my channel, man.
Yeah,
I
man, say
do an
that.
interview on you, and you, bro. I do an interview on you. You can pull up to my channel. You know
I'm
what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna send you the link because I do a lot of platforms, man, where y'all will probably want to pull up. I do a lot of content with people from the East Coast, West Coast, down south. We get it in. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
said, I
man.
got 10,000 subscribers. I got about 7, 8,000. I don't know how many followers on YouTube, on Instagram. I got a lot of followers on. You know, we doing numbers, man. So let's
Yeah,
work.
brother. For sure, I
Let's
want to
work.
come on your platform, man. I want to give some people, besides what they're hearing about Drake and all this stuff
Yeah,
about
man. Let
Toronto,
us
I
know
want to
what's
give you
going
guys
on with
the
Toronto,
real
man. Because
Toronto. We're going to give
all
you the
we hear,
real Toronto.
yeah, we want to hear about the real Toronto because I remember
Yeah.
one time I was watching a video, right? And I think Drake was beefing with somebody. And the dude was in like a high-rise apartment where it was just a glass building. He was in there and some dudes pulled up and they hopped out and they gave it to the boy.
Oh, yeah, yeah. He got robbed in Toronto, though, still. Yeah. That's way back. Yeah, yeah.
That
There's
was
a lot.
way back. That was about like 2012, 2013. Huh?
Yeah, man, he got a story. Like how you guys hear about Drake? You see, and how you know about like Big U? We got the info what you never heard. You get what I mean? Like the
Yeah,
stories
man,
way
we got it.
before.
We got to get together and put it down.
Yeah,
Where you
this
dropping this? Where you dropping this content at?
it's gonna drop soon as I'm done, man. I don't waste no time, man. I don't
Are you
waste
on
no time.
YouTube?
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on every podcast platform you could think of. When you know what I'm saying? Like I made sure it's on everything, even on Rumble.
All
Right
right,
now,
man.
right
Well,
now we're on Twitch. We're on Twitch too. Right now, broadcasting on
What's
Twitch.
happening?
Right now.
Which is that
So
spot?
we got to get together and do a real. Now that we got together,
yeah,
let's do a real interview, and
yeah,
I'll let you know some real things.
yeah, man. We're gonna get down to earth with my brother because you know I do. If you see, it's me and my brother most of the time. Sometimes I'm solo, but it's down
And
to
shout out to
earth.
my boys from IBM because my IBM dudes put me up on you. Uh,
Much respect, man.
Draco,
Yep.
Hoodlum,
Good brothers. Good
Gizzy,
brothers.
um,
Good brothers.
and of course Loose Cannon. You know what I'm saying? Because
Good
that's how I
brothers.
came up on your podcast. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's why I
Oh,
made this a
okay.
special, man, with Godface too. He's alumni. You know, I made this a special.
Right, 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 right.
Yeah, like you're saying, we're gonna do another interview with me and my brother, Down to Earth podcast, and we're gonna get deep into it too, and Godface too, man. We're gonna set one up again. That's how we gotta do. Update each other, networking.
All right,
This is
all right.
how
Sounds
you
good.
have progress. But yo, brothers, bless up. Thank you for coming through to the Down to Earth Network, Down to Earth podcast. Rich Dollaz, Godface from the West Coast. Bless up, brothers.